Hey, everybody, welcome back to Gardens of the Untold Story. I'm your host, Ken Somerville, my co host and good friend, Andy Lopez, the Invisible Gardener. Yeah, and it's his music that we're dancing to at the beginning. Okay. So today, Andy, we wanted to talk about the liquid blueprint, why water is the master key to life. And it truly is. So, Andy, brother, you wanted this title, man. So let's see what Andy has to say about the master key to life.
So we have been talking last few shows about energy. Last show was about structured water. And structured water is very, very interesting because I hope I got it across to people that it's data, it's information. But what I wanted to get across today to people is that how water, how water is used by nature. And it's I want to explain a little bit about water. Did you know that water is a very unique, it has a very unique chemical structure? And I didn't really realize that. It's called partial negative. It has a
Okay.
partial negative and a partial positive. And water has uneven electrical charges. So people don't realize the water has a charge at all. It does. And that's part of the thing that makes it really cool because Mother Nature has put that in there and it responds to electricity, it responds to energy. And so, and then most people don't even, of course, we realize that, water is important for drinking and water for eating, and that soil biology would die if it didn't have water. So those are basic things that are important that people understand, but because of its ability to have an electrical charge, it responds to a variety of energetic forms that the Earth is constantly being bombarded by, because it's, we have local energies, and that's one of the things that I try to talk to people about and have them explain that man is very good at creating their own energy forms, right? Whether it be 5G, 6G, microwave, you name all these things. And these are things that are not really found in nature. Microwave is not exactly a natural thing. And so but if you was to take away everything man-made, you will find that water has very, very interesting qualities. For example, an obvious one is that how it moves nutrients, how
Yeah.
water moves nutrients, and also how it eliminates waste. So we're talking about living things like in the soil. So we're not going to go too much into the body and how it needs water in the body for nutrients, but it's the obvious, right? It moves nutrients, and that's what we talk a lot about. That's the key to understanding how the soil biology feeds the trees, the water, and so when you have a nutrition in the soil and you want to convert it to a product that the plant can eat, it uses water. Water is a system that passes it on to the biology and the root hairs, and then gives it to the plant.
Well, you have to also consider, Andy, every single cell, whether it's in a
Water.
human body or the plant, it needs so much water. Like I believe it's a protozoa, which is a single celled, single cell.
Yeah.
It's either 33 or 333 billion molecules of water in that single cell. That's where your face, as you grow older, you lose moisture out of your skin. That's where you start getting wrinkles, etc. It's a lack of water that's in those cells.
Yeah. So I keyed into water a long time ago. I said, well, that's very important. You have to drink a lot of water and all this kind of stuff. But I was also understanding how, because in the desert you have very little water, but you still have water. So nowhere on the planet do you have no water, simple water. And so and it's also important for temperature and climate. All this stuff has to do with water. And the structure of water is very interesting because for cellular water, it has to do with pressure, water pressure, how it gets moved to your body. Well, plants also have water pressure that boosts. And the tree just pumps the water up. It's a big pumping system. I learned that right from the beginning of my working with tree cares. because when there's a whole science of the biology of a tree, how the tree is basically a pump that takes and brings the water up. So water, because I talked a lot about how Mother Nature uses sugar. Well, water and sugar go together because water gets dissolved in the sugar and takes it up. So, and
you mean the sugar gets dissolved in the water?
Yeah, the water, the sugar. What did I say before?
You said that the water gets dissolved in the sugar, and it's the
Yeah,
sugar.
that sounds like a good thing. Yeah, it's the sugar gets dissolved in the water. But you have to excuse me. As I get older, I go backwards.
And upside down too, I heard. Yeah, like a bat hanging.
Oh yeah, I used to do that upside down thing, but it's not much. And so when we talk about soil biology, there's a whole bunch of different things that live in there, right? And they all use water. Water is a literal lifeline for this ecosystem. Without the water, you wouldn't have the system. We wouldn't have biology, and we wouldn't have us. We wouldn't have trees. We wouldn't have plants. Everything uses water in an amazing way. And I like using the examples of water in terms of let's see. I got my little phone is doing something weird here. I can't see it. And so interesting is that the soil particles have a water film on them as well, and the microbes use that the film of the water to travel through the soil, because they don't swim in the earth. They swim in their little water pools that they have in there. It's very, very interesting as well. And so microbes, and here's an interesting thing: soil microbes soil biology live inside microscopic films of water. It's really very cool. See, you know what I mean? And I talk a lot about it's important to get a city filter, water filter, right? And so why is it so key to life and vitality? Exactly, and not just for us humans, but for everything. You see, and so so that's one reason why city water that without the filter, it's not good for the biology, because the biology is not drinking it; they swim in it, and they drink it. But that's something that we need to understand. And I wrote down here: drought death. Without water, microbes dry out and die. They don't exactly die; they go into hibernation.
Yeah, stasis. Yeah.
Yeah, and when the water comes back, they recover, which is really cool. So that means that basically, when I tell people you have dead soil, no, everybody's asleep down there. And the further down you go, the more they don't react to the closer you are to the surface. You have the heat, you have all these chemicals, all this kind of stuff. So there's usually something down below still surviving. I was reading a book the other day about how far down you can go to find soil biology. And the further down you go, you find this soil biology is actually millions of years old. They haven't been brought up to the surface in a long time. And that's very, very interesting too, I found. And the lady she was studying that because she was realizing this is what we need to understand the biology on other planets. Because when you go out to other planets, you're scraping on the surface looking for biology. You're not going to find it there. It's probably just miles or whatever below the level. Ionized water and essentia. Oh, who's this? No, baloney Mahoney.
New, but yeah, the Los Angeles water smells. I found, because I live in the prairies, our water doesn't generally smell, but I know when I go out to the ocean, either to British Columbia, etc., that you can really get a smell to the water. So
it's a key.
It's a key. I have natural gas, and I have, I had what's called a tank farm here, and when the big trucks were running down the road, I would literally get the natural gas smell, that rotten egg smell, coming from my water. So yeah, it's very easy to get that.
When I was young, they weren't adding stuff to the water, and especially when I lived in Cuba and Puerto Rico, they caught the rainwater. And so in those days, that was clean water. We didn't have the acid rain. We didn't have to worry about all these different chemicals. But nowadays, water is number one problem with our soil biology being in the shape that it's in. But everything's right up there. Number one, you have chemical fertilizers, you got chemical herbicides, fungicides, you name it, right? And then we have viruses that we create, right? All these different and then medicine, and then there's forever plastics and forever chemicals, and so it's like, and they use the water system as well. They use the water to survive, to spread, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was reading about ocean water, seawater is radioactive. So it's like, what the heck,
right? All.
What the heck? So it's so nowadays water is not just water anymore. You have to look. Most people understand that they have to. So when I go to new customers' places, first thing I say is, so you have a water filter for the house? Oh yeah, we drink it and we shower in it. Do you have a water filter for the property? No. And I said, why? And they say, why? Like literally say, no, why do you ask?
And that's the problem. People just don't understand because they've never been told. And I'm so glad that you're out there telling people, Andy. Maybe they'll wake up eventually.
It's they're very mad at me, and they say, so and one lady, I hope she's not watching. If you're watching, I'm not mentioning your name, but she decided to use a water filter company that's already having water filtered for her home. I said, don't do that. It's going to cost you more. $18,000 she spent on a water filter, when my friend would have given it to her for $2,000 to $5,000 at the most. Yeah, because you don't need, it's the same thing, but I guess for indoors you can charge a lot more than you can for outdoors, And so, but it's to me it has become what is it? My goal in life is I've always been to heal not just the soil biology, but I love all living beings, right? I love I was talking to, I had this issue, so I want to tell you real fast about squirrels. Okay, so when I came here, I started the garden, right? And these squirrels visited. Oh, look, there's somebody living here. And my cat was going hi, and they had babies, and they became friends. And then the babies grew up. They would come here all the time. I started feeding them, right? I started feeding, cute little squirrels, feeding them. And then when I started planting things, I told the squirrels, okay, you guys can eat the peanuts and the bread, but leave my food alone. And so for some reason, I got it in my head. She said, you're not supposed to feed the squirrels, right? Because they have fleas and they could have all kinds of things that they give your cat, because I was noticing, I was scratching. I'm going, oh, fleas. Oh, it's the squirrels, right? And so I stopped, and the squirrels, they had a little sign, we want our peanut. We want our peanut. And they went after, and they started going after my food. And I couldn't grow any lettuce. I couldn't grow anything because they would eat it. They would look at me and go, yeah, well, I'm eating your lettuce. What are you going to do about it? And I'm not going to kill them. So the other day I said, okay, I'm going to go back to feeding the squirrels. So I go back. So I have food out there, and they're happy. And then those kids, they grew up, have now have kids. There were two of them running around, really happy. Oh, look at this! This is a great garden. And they're still a little nervous about me. I was looking at this channel that tells you how squirrels talk to you, right? And it's true what they say, because I have these squirrels. They look at you, right, and they follow you, and they know who you are, and they know what times I go out. So I go inside, and sure enough, certain times they're out there looking around. Now they go right to the food. And the blue jays are back, the squirrels are back, and the little kids are like, "Oh, what is this stuff? These are peanuts." And they're trying to figure out how to get into it. You know how the peanut shells, and the mom and dad goes, "Here, break this." Oh, look, get into it. It's really wonderful, and I told her, I apologize for taking your food away, and please let me grow my food. Same thing with gophers. I refuse to kill things. It's not right. So I'm trying to talk to the gophers. Because they said, we have the water. It's really dry over here. There's water here. We're going to come in and drink the water, So what they do is they eat the roots and get the water out of the roots. So I'm working on a way to help them. And one of the things is more roots in the ground that happens to be very helpful when you control gophers. They have to eat through the roots to get to them. And so I've been planting things that they do not like. They hate garlic. They take the garlic, pull it out of the ground. I'm not going to eat that. Throw it. Everything tastes like garlic. We don't want garlic. And I go, please don't throw it. So I'm working on it. So I'm growing karapi, which is a native grass. And it gets, as it get older, it has roots 10 feet in the ground. It holds water and provides air because it's so deep. It has a lot of way for the earth to breathe and this whole thing, And of course, my yard. So one of the things I have a problem with is whenever I get a gardener to help, some laborers to help me, the first thing they do is start pulling weeds. I say, what are you doing? I'm pulling your weeds. Did I tell you to pull the weeds? No, but you got to pull the weeds. No, pull. They can't help it. They have built into their system, oh, weeds. I got to pull the weeds. I got to pull the weeds. This is not a weed. Yes, it is. It's so funny because everywhere they go, everybody says, pull the weeds, throw them away. I said, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. No, I didn't tell you to do that. I didn't want you to think. And then they walk on it like it's not alive. You just destroyed all these. Well, they're just weeds. So, they particularly hate dandelions, which are considered a weeds. But I said, I planted. You planted dandelions? Why would you do that? These are weeds. And I don't want to get carried away about my water thing because me, I could just babble forever. But I also, so anyway, with water, one of the things that I have learned about in my billion years doing this. See, I had a list of stuff we're going to talk about, but I'd rather just wing it because it's much more natural for me to be talking about. And of course, you guys have questions. Just feel free to pump them out there, and my right hand here will pull them up, or Silly will pull them up. I'm glad to answer questions for you. But to me, the water, it happens to be water is so amazing that it has these structures already built into it. Because when you look at nature, Mother Nature either put them in or is using them because it's there. One or the other, right? I can't tell which came first. Was it just plain water and somebody came along, blah, 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 and changed it? Or was it already changed and Mother Nature says, let's do that? So I think somehow together, water ends up where we're at now. And
water, you got to remember, Andy, that water didn't actually exist on this planet. It was a progression of the planet that actually put water together.
Yeah. So I was reading about biology that created water. One of the things they did, because there's several ways the water will come. The theory is meteorites will bring water from other planets or whatever, and crashes, you have water, but the scientists have found in Hawaii, down where the lava is coming up, this biology that actually generates water. And they realized that, I don't know how they found, what did she say about dandelion? Yeah.
They're very good for us. And actually, Pseudomonas merengue, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but that's in the air, the soil, the whole 9 yards, and it's that allows rain to happen. It gathers the rain, and that's biologically it collects those molecules until it creates enough abundance to actually start a rain event.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of systems together to provide us with this clean water. And what do, right? We just have to pollute the water as much as we can. Whether we put toxins in the air, so when rain falls through, water absorbs things. So when it flows through toxins, it's going to absorb the toxins. By the time it hits the ground, it's not the water you were drinking before. You even have to pollute. You even have to filter out rainwater nowadays. It depends what part of the world you live in, right? But one of the things that I have discovered, which is really, really cool, is that the water has a sound, has a frequency too. So in Mother Nature, when you have the thunder, that thunder generates the energy that gets absorbed by the water. And it's not a coincidence that all this thunder rains, right? So when it rains, you have this energetic water, which is a really cool. You can literally and the energetic water is pure water. It doesn't have any chemicals in it. It actually repels all kinds of toxins, and you can actually get but it has to be connected to the thunder and the lightning, right? You know what I mean? It energizes everything, cleans it all up. And that is absolutely amazing. In terms of human beings, animals, birds, all those things, they take it directly that way. I think birds, when they fly, they have a little bucket to catch the water, you know what I mean? Don't let it hit the ground. Don't let it hit the ground. And in the old days, yeah, the ground, and even the ground is like filter. It's a filter for toxins. The biology in the soil will filter out the toxins and convert it. But I think it's just being overwhelmed with all these different chemicals, and you know, it's a process you can't really, because people say, why do you have to come here every month? Well, if you stopped producing the chemicals, that's why I was talking to a lady today, and I know she's probably watching, and I don't know if I should say it or not, but she's using a chemical fertilizer that she swears the biology it's made so that it breaks down. The biology breaks it down. It's supposed to be. It's still a chemical fertilizer, and I don't know anything about it. But it doesn't sound. It sounds very suspicious to me that the biology would love to break down this chemical fertilizer, and that it does nothing doesn't no harm for the soil biology. Because otherwise, well, there's probably chemical fertilizers out there that are really so bad that the biology won't touch it with a 10-foot pole and kills it. It may take a while for the biology to evolve, to where they can do that, because that's what they do. Leave it alone. If all human beings was to leave the planet, the biology will figure out how to clean itself out. I truly believe that. But it takes time. It could take 1,000,000 years for the biology. Hey, we got it. We got this one, right? Because a lot of times they would evolve, survive. If not survive, okay, let's do it again. Evolve, no, let's do it again. Bingo, we got one that works for whether it be radiation. And that's one of the things about life on other planets. You have to give it time for it to evolve to the system, and a lot of times these things doesn't happen. What's it say? The ultimate solvent. That's right. It transports nutrition. This is our AI. We have our own AI. It cells and regulates temperature. You got it right off of my phone. Oh yeah, you got it right off of my phone. Yep.
And urea-based fertilizers are yucky. And we do have some questions, Andy.
Huh?
What? We do have some questions. You want to look at some of the questions?
I love questions. Wait a second.
Okay.
A question.
Okay. We'll start with Tio Mimo. And is water sentient?
Listen, man, everything's sentient. Just because we don't understand the language, just because we don't have the consciousness to see them, all things, whether it be rocks, whether it be atoms, all of them are sentient. We're all part of one being. As long as you realize that, you can see that. But like I said, just because you don't understand the language, your consciousness is not there, does not mean that it's not a sentient being. Okay, that's my feelings. My feelings is that yes, even a rock, a mountain, right? It's all sentient, and it proves it because it will all react to you. Here's a messages from water. Okay, there's 2 books in here, and I wanted to bring this up because you see the flake. Now the flake is a print. It shows you when see how it's fuzzy and not shaped right. You see that. So when it's toxic, the water change. It has a way of communication, and it changes the structure of the actual flake.
Yeah.
You see, you know what I mean? And so you can literally communicate with the water and change the structure of the flake, because once we can see how it responds, we can actually have a language as long as you understand what it's saying back to you. That's the thing about gems and crystals. I truly believe they're all sentient, and they understand us better than we understand them.
Yeah, the same with plants. They have a lot more, awareness of us than we do of them. But I agree with you. They're actually, or have been for years, looking at using water as the memory chip in computers.
Yeah.
And that water holds genetic codes in it. Yeah. It communicates, and it's a conduit of communication.
Yeah.
Of electrical signals. Now, when you go deep enough into all of this, guys, you start looking at quantum biology and quantum
Yeah,
physics.
yeah.
There, you can't say that there is that anything that's not sentient on this planet.
Listen, I started looking at the Hindu Vedas. These people came up with the quantum. They understand entirely how water is a source of information, how to communicate with water, how it holds knowledge that we can use. And that's why a lot of these places on the planet are sacred, because the water is still clean. The water is revered as a living being that if you can communicate with it, it communicates with you. It's so cool. Over here in the United States, try to find someplace that has been left alone, that has been, praised. I like Mount
Helens.
Yeah, that's one of the few places that you can go to that is sacred. That people, the water is clean, and I treat it as a living being. When I drink, I say, "Thank you. How you doing? I want to eat you now." Sorry.
Well, you look at Antarctica, they're finding microplastics in Antarctica. So is there a place that's truly clean?
No,
I don't think there is anymore, but
no.
can we have enough biology in our stomachs to break that stuff down? Well, yes and no. It depends on if we have healthy biology. But let's go to Serena's question here. And this, we got kind of a
It better not be a joke.
no, I just transplanted a butterfly candy bush, and no, it doesn't have candy, Andy. In a resin whiskey barrel planter after putting a lot of grass. What kind of fertilizer does it need, since grass has a lot of nitrogen?
Well, see, here's the thing. See, you want to stop thinking in terms of fertilizer. That's a problem. We're taught, well, there's something we can add to the soil. But the way I think about it, and I've always had, is instead of keying into one thing, key into the main thing you really want to do. You want to get your biology going strong, because the biology will provide whatever it needs. See, when you have something that already has high nitrogen, you don't need a fertilizer with any more nitrogen in it. What you need is a fertilizer, if you want to do a fertilizer, with more trace minerals in it. And the best way to do trace minerals is to get biology rich in trace minerals and give it that. So make sure you're providing trace minerals to your biology. So that's why I have a worm farm. I add after the worms give me the leachate, I add trace minerals to that and let the biology break that down. And that's what I use on the grass. People say, "What makes my grass? Why are you spraying that makes my grass so beautiful? What kind of fertilizer you use?" I don't consider biology a fertilizer.
No,
See what
it's
I
a
mean?
life form,
It's
or
a life
actually a
form.
multitude of life forms.
Yeah, right. It's such a blend of all these invisible gardeners in there, right? And they make that grass so. And it's like I'm spraying it, and right behind me you can see the color change. People say, they have a video as you walk, it changes the color, literally just as you go, because it's like the plant is waiting. I'm thirsty. As soon as you get the water, you get it. That's why I use it. That's why foliar feeding is such a key to making things grow. And
Super Tinker says, my indoor
yeah,
plants like classical music. They
yeah,
don't mind when I hit notes wrong either. So yeah, the plants, they that vibration, guys, energy, frequency, vibration. That's why the rain. It's a much better water. It's getting that energy out of the atmosphere. So that's where Dr. Emoto found that when you project positive thoughts or negative thoughts, it changes the structure and the look of the water. That's energy, frequency, vibration. Everything needs energy, frequency, vibration. You keep positive, you give positive to your plants, you give them that positive energy, that love. All of a sudden, your plants are going to be a lot happier too.
let me tell you a secret. So when Ken said that I wrote the song that we're listening to, when I started, the reason why I started doing the music was because I would put into it a frequency. And I've learned one particular frequency in general is what everything responds to. Anything alive responds to. And it changes the water in our bodies, right? The water in our mind and our brain, and the water in the plants. 582 is a very specific frequency that really it causes instant changes. Scientists and doctors are studying it by listening. So it's the same frequency when the monks are meditating and when they're humming their om, that's the 582 right there. So we already have it built in within us to create this frequency. I just wrote a song just last night, and it has I usually have it in the background because people don't, what is that strange noise? Oh my God, it's good. But now I'm putting it right in their face and hey folks, this is right in your face, and you're going to have to pay attention to it because that's the key. If you ignore it, your body will listen to it, but your brain is not listening. Your brain is going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything breaks down into a frequency. If color is a certain frequency, frequencies are a certain color, you know,
and waveforms, etc. That tuning a guitar or a piano, all those different frequencies. But Serena came back with something here. The instructions for the butterfly candy bush say to use slow release fertilizer like osmoca, whatever. Yeah, what is something similar biologically and organically that I can use? Biochar or what else?
Again, I like you, but you're stuck in a certain realm here, and I will tell it to you again and again and again. The biology does not have fast release or slow. Biology is always a slow release. Biology will give you what you need, not anymore. It's not like chemicals that you have to have slow release because you have chemicals or fast release, right? The chemicals just get sucked right in your plant and yourself, like sugar, right? Take sugar, you can't slow it down. Your body goes, so if you want to just key into having a wide range of biology, not just one particular thing. You want to be able to tap. You want to allow Mother Nature to pick what biology wants to do. The rest of biology, you go off of there and do something else. But these guys are the right ones who say, okay, you need this. Let me give you this. Here, take a little bit of this. Take a little bit of this. It doesn't shove it down your mouth. It says, take what you need as you need it. That's what's so good about it. And so that's what's so bad about chemical fertilizer. It says, inject, take it. And you go through this. Higher the stress, the greater the pest. We talk about refractometer. You talk about, and so when you give it chemicals, whoosh, they get this rapid growth and it looks really good, but man, it's super stressed out, and the bug in the universe is going, you're dead. you're out of it. See, that's what you have to key into, okay?
Okay, Tio Mio thinks you're on some refined sugar and you're twitching and yelling, Andy.
yeah. It's I have a refined energy, a refined energy. I just take energy, and when I lived in Costa Rica, I was a breatharian. I went a long time without eating because the energy is there. You suck it in, and that's my next door neighbor. If you hear the drumming. And he should be watching the show because normally he watches it. So I guess he didn't get the notice. But what's very important for you to understand that you never answered me how you making your biology, how you're making your biology. That's important too, To me,
well, if you're adding compost, a good compost that you've created, Serena, and you've added your rock dust in there and all of that different inputs that we recommend that you put in, and you take that material and you use that in your soil with this plant, you're going to have a wide diversity of biology. And remember, Serena, it is not the plant growing itself. It is the biology that puts together every single cell of your plant, and all you're doing, whether you're using a fertilizer or you're using an organic amendment. It is feeding the building blocks that the biology uses to build more biology and the cells of your plant. So don't focus on growing the plant, focus on growing the biology that actually grows the plant. The more
That's what you got to do.
biology, the more diverse the amendments that are available, and do that through a compost, the healthier your plants are always
So
going
your
to be.
compost should be like a general toolbox that fits, that adapts itself to whatever the needs are. That's what the biology is really all about. That's what Mother Nature has always done. Mother Nature doesn't have one magical gardener; it has millions of it, and it picks the one. The biology picks the one that has the right toolbox with them to give you what you want. You see, because people always say, what can I spray for that? What can I spray for this? Why are you saying it's the same thing? Well, because it's the same thing. Do I have to make a different biological liquid for trees, or different biological liquid for plants, or different biological liquid for roses? No, the very same thing for all of it. And that's what's work. I have worm casting.
Yeah. So okay, I'll read it for the audience that doesn't see this. I have worm castings and fish emulsion. In addition to biochar that is charged, I also have compost. Just need to sift it. And that's what you need, Serena. Remember, it's the biology that builds the cell. It's the biology that's growing your plant. You are not doing it. Feed the biology. Give the biology all the things it needs to make healthy cells to have a healthy plant.
So you're not giving it all the things it needs. I can tell you right off the bat, you're missing a bunch of trace minerals, and that's always been your problem. Remember, if you don't have those trace minerals, it will cause a problem. So C90, SEA90, put that in your mixture, in your compost. Put rock dust in your compost. You see, normally Mother Nature gets it. You have to think like Mother Nature does. You have to think like Mother Nature does. Worm castings are good, but worm casting is not going to create it from nothing, right? You need to add let's assume that you're missing rock dust. That's what you want, because Mother Nature grinds up the rocks. Mother Nature has lots of ways, volcanoes, to create the minerals. So everything you're doing there, you're lacking. It's 96 trace minerals you need. Can you tell me? Yes, I have 96 trace minerals in my. See, and that's what you want. And because you have 96, doesn't mean Mother Nature is going to force you to eat all 96 trace minerals. It's not going to work that way. Mother Nature will say, okay, you need this one, but you need this one first to make that available. We need this one to make that available. If you don't have these, sure, if you're a chemist, I have friends who are chemists. I have 5 pounds of calcium. Well, you're supposed to have a bunch of other things before that calcium is available. And he thinks it's natural to have diseases and pests. You just take this liquid, whether it be copper sulfate, right, or whatever else, and spray that. That's temporary, solves the problem. It doesn't. It's not the cure. It's law of cause and effect. You're dealing with the effect. You always have the cause to cause the effect.
Yeah, you're treating the symptoms and not the cause.
It's a natural way to sell. If chemical people say, don't worry about the cause, just do this. I saw TV the other day, eat whatever you want to eat, but take this pill. Take this pill for the rest of your life as long as you're continuously doing that. So they brainwash you into thinking, I hope they don't shut us down. Boom, they're shut down. You know what I mean? And that's what you have to do. You have to think outside the box. Okay, he's saying I need that chemical to spray that. Because when I grew up, I fell for it too. Okay, so if I take this calcium sulfate or whatever there are lots of different organic products on the market that you take to deal with the effect. But I said, well, I've learned about law of cause and effect a long time ago. And I'm going, that doesn't solve it because I have to keep doing it. Why does it come back? Why doesn't it just spray once you're done with it? Which people think, oh, just spray that and we're done. But no, it doesn't, like diseases on plants, diseases. All diseases are soil-borne. Mm-hmm. So, and then, so you have a plant that's diseased, you prune to let the leaves fall down. Well, the leaves are diseased, going to go right back into the soil, reinfect the soil again. And why does it reinfect the soil? Because the biology is not there to take care of the disease.
because you killed all your weeds, and that was what was giving you organic material to keep your biology alive, and you just killed it all. But that goes back to the water, and the filter that you talked about, the filters earlier, and I mentioned it on Monday's show. Blue Sky Biochar, you can get one of their filters, and that's going to really help. But yeah, a lot of people don't look at what's coming out of their tap. I'm lucky I'm on a well, but yeah, if you're on any type of municipal water source where they're treating it, you need a filter before you run your sprinkler in your yard for your grass. But let's Lucas wanted to know, hey, my question is, what is Uncle Andy's favorite food?
Listen, man, I don't have a favorite food. Everything I eat is my favorite. Anything that I can eat and get away with it and I get sick is my favorite. I can tell you what my not favorite foods is. Killing living things. I'm not a meat eater because I don't like killing things. I prefer, even though I kill plants, I have a hard time with that, right? I should eat this poor strawberry plant. But that's why I like the fruit. I don't kill. I prefer to eat plants that give me their food or fruit, right, without killing the plant. I love herbs, but when I lived in Costa Rica, I was a fruitarian. I ate all the fruit because I one of my favorite things is avocados. Especially as I get older, I have 6 avocados a day, easily enough. Easily enough. I love to have sunflower seeds, all kinds of seeds, pumpkin seeds, because it doesn't hurt the plant, right? They give me these seeds freely. I say, yeah, thank you. And I love that. I love to be co-assist. I'm like a little Buddhist guy running around. Then my problem is I can't walk anywhere because I'm killing that ant. Oh my God, I'm killing. It's like there's nothing you can do, right? You can't go to that extreme, because I said I can't breathe the air because I'm killing the biology in the air. It's like, we are destructive people, but we have to have some kind of consciousness as what we do. So when I grew up in a farm, my parents were always, thank you for the food we're going to eat. They treated the animal with respect, and they say, look at this gun, it's like, and I remember once my mother killed a chicken by wrangling his neck, and that poor thing was walking around with it on its head. I was stressed out for a long. I still am stressed out about it, right? Because it's like, oh my God, poor animal. So I love. I could be a fruitarian if I grew in an environment where all the fruit was good, right?
Yeah,
that's the problem. It's a big problem here. Even when you go buy organic stuff, they ship them in the container with other chemicals, and it's getting fumigated right there already with the. As a matter of fact, a lot of things that are bought in other countries that are, quote, organic are fumigated on the boat. The law says you can't bring it to the United States and what is that they fumigated with, right? And it's certified organic, so it defeats the purpose. The purpose. And then there's a lot of companies, and I'm not going to give any names. You know who they are. They're certified organic, but they buy from third parties, which are not certified at all.
Yeah.
So you go, wait a minute. So your product is organic, but I found out you buy it from this company, and they don't do anything organic. So
and you're just packaging it and putting your name on it. But yeah, that's a real issue. But let's we got 3 questions here.
Okay, let's go for it.
Does peat have nutrients or properties that benefit the plants, or is it just a good medium to mix in other organic inputs compared to, let's say, black dirt?
I would stay away from peat. There's only a certain amount of peat bogs are left, and they're digging them up, causing environmental issues by digging up the peat bogs. Peat bogs are millions of years old, and they should be stayed in the ground. A better product is coconut coir. When they take coconut and they have this product that's made from coconuts. That's a wonderful stuff. That actually has the biology of the coconut and the nutrients in there. So I would go that route instead of using peat. What the peat does is aerates it. It brings the soil pH to a more balanced way. Which so now in the coconut coir, COIR is very inexpensive because you have obviously there's lots of coconuts being produced out there, and that's the way I would go.
Okay, now And now it's my turn. The peat, yeah, it doesn't really have a lot of life in it. It's generally dried out that they're scraping out. Sphagnum peat moss, and that's what the type we have in Canada. It actually is regrowing because it's still alive. A lot of the peat bogs are ancient, they're dead, there's no biology left. Some of the different sphagnum, it does still have life in it. Depends on how it's shipped, etc.
Look for that.
As for the cocoa core, there's you have to be careful who you're buying from.
Exactly
right. A lot of it is being stripped off of the coconuts, thrown on the ground in huge piles. They're driving machinery over it, etc. So you're getting a lot of fumes. You're getting a lot of iron, cadmium, nickel. A lot of heavy metals can be found in there, oils, etc., that are dripping from the machines. So just be aware of the source of where you're getting it. Check into it. I know Leighton Morrison has mentioned a company that he has that they are a lot more careful. Also, coconut core, I found you can have a lot of salt in it, and you can get an overabundance of salt, so you need to wash it. But yeah, it's a real conundrum for what you want to use and what's good to use. But I think we covered that question. We'll hit
the next thing to do is make your own. You can make your own at home from different things that you have in your garden.
Well, if you have aged wood chips, you can use wood chips to fluff up your soil, etc. But yeah, it's everything's got good and bad, Andy.
I use pine needles.
Yeah, as long as they're not. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, well, let's hit the next question here. What kind of foliar is good for a fresh planted cutting?
Okay, so I think I had mentioned that already before. So when I make my foliar sprays, it's just one spray, and it works for everything. That foliar spray, it's a very complex biological and minerally rich product. So whatever you spray will use what it needs. So if you have whatever plant you're growing, whether it be vegetable or whatever you foliar sprayed, it will take what it needs. The rest of it goes back to Mother Nature. It doesn't do any. It doesn't need it. So you don't need to concentrate on what particular foliar thing to use. If you have to concentrate on something, use something biologically rich. Milk happens to be a good foliar spray. I do coffee, cream, and sugar. That's a great foliar spray. Coffee, of course, is all organic. You want to get organic. I use cold brew coffee. The only reason why I do it, that's a foliar spray. It's a combination of the caffeine will prevent. When I go to people's properties who are not, the properties are not healthy, you have to do something for immediate care. You have to do something. The biology works really, really well because they'll tackle anything from whiteflies to diseases. But if I know particular it's a disease, for example, then I know it's a calcium deficiency. And even though there's calcium in my liquid, I can add some milk to it, increase the calcium. There's also all the different kinds of biology you can make sprays from: organic wheat flour, organic rice flour, organic corn flour. There's one more I'm missing. It's rice, corn, rice. I'm missing one in there. I forget what it is now. But all those are very rich. I also do make when you do coffee, cream, and sugar, the sugar is a molasses mixture. Organic molasses is rich in iron. So you want to have something that it has lots of different trace minerals already naturally in it. You see, and the molasses increases the sugar level, which makes it easier for the plants to absorb. So that's what you want to do, and you'll find it be easier to control the diseases and stuff like that.
Okay, well, you were just talking about the molasses, and our last question that I have here is, what would a source of sugar do to the soil? Sugarcane pulp, molasses.
Exactly right. The biology which eat it right up. So you just have to remember, don't be a moron.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do. Mother Nature does not is not a moron. She does not pump it. She'll give you a little bit of everything, and you take what you need. So the molasses is really good because, see, when you make cane sugar, they throw away the good stuff, and that's the molasses. It comes from cane sugar, most of it is, and that's the good stuff that you want. So when I buy sugar for myself, for my kitchen, it's molasses, not white sugar. So I stay away from white sugar.
And unsulfured molasses. Now,
Unsulfured
Rob wants you to go back to the Gophers and ground squirrel control, Andy.
Okay, so here's the things that I'll show you for the ground squirrel, for example, and same thing with the gopher. As my biology increases, my gopher problem is slowly going away because they have to go work their way through this biologically rich environment. But I also put garlic down there. Garlic is a wonderful tool for both squirrel. I'll talk. So for gopher for sure, because you put some, you buy some. I got organic crushed garlic, put it in the tunnel. It stinks up the tunnel, and it lasts a while. Also, too, you go to a barber shop and get hair. Put hair down in there. It works during the summertime. The heat heats up and sends air out. I used to go to the zoo and buy, when they do the lions and tigers, put it in the tunnel, and the gophers go, "There's an elephant, something's here. We don't know what it is. Leave." But for the squirrels, you want to. So you'll find that they're very sensitive to smells.
And I got to bring this one up, guys, from Serena. What underground rodents do when they want something?
No, go for it.
It was just perfect. I'm sorry. It's just perfect.
I know. So here's what I would do for squirrels. Grow a wide range of herbs. They hate oregano. They hate lavender, peppermint, spearmint. They smell that and they go, okay, let's go over there. And you'll find that and all throughout history. There's another one.
Oh, Tio Mimu, gophers like grenades, I heard.
Yeah, so one of the things when I was young, I didn't use grenades, but I had a big speaker system. I put it on the ground and played music like Grateful Dead or whatever. Boom, 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 boom. They were out. So was the cats, and so was everybody in the neighborhood. Get your cat out and stop with the noise. So it's sound, But grow herbs. I have 21 different kinds of herbs: lavender, peppermint, spearmint. And so I was trying to grow tomatoes, and the squirrels would come around. They're trying to get to it, and they can't get to it because I grew it right in the oregano bed. The bed was oregano in it, or lavender. And you can also, the garlic is a very good. It's a product called Garlic Barrier. It has 1,000 bulbs of garlic in a gallon, so it's very concentrated. You can make a little bit in water and spray. But if you have a garden, make some tea from the oregano, make some tea from the lavender, make some tea from sage, tea from peppermint. Peppermint's good for you, but you can spray it. You'll smell that pepper. If you can smell it, they will too. You don't want to kill them, but you want to use their nose against them. And that really works. So you learn how to spray. But you have to spray it on a regular basis because it goes away. Best thing to do is grow it. Grow it everywhere as a barrier around. They have to go through that, The last thing they hate, honey, I'm home. You spraying like peppermint or garlic again. Oh no, right? So they hate that.
So Crafty had a question. You like corn flour. It's hard for humans to digest, correct? So would it actually be good in the soil?
Oh yeah. So corn flour is one of those things that has the biology that breaks down really, really super slow. So rice flour gets broken up by the biology almost instantly. They get in there and they just chop it up. Because remember, when you rinse the rice, you have the lactobacillus, right? In the rice. And that's available right away. Whereas the corn and the wheat, corn is the longest. It takes several months for it to slowly break down. And the biologist breaks it down real slowly, a little bit. The wheat takes about a month for it to break down. The rice flour, it's gone within a week. The biology eats it, and we want more. So you want a blend of those things. That way they have something down the road continuously feeding, and that's what you want. And corn is fine as long as you not get genetically modified corn. Your body cannot digest this stuff. They just can't.
Mhm.
You should read this book called, actually, it's a movie, All About Wheat. And they have another one called All About Corn. It just says, this is not what we grew up with by human beings. I mean, to thousands of years when we ate corn. We didn't, this is not the same corn, not the same wheat.
Yeah. So we got one here. I wonder if flavored coffee grounds are good for compost. And Lily's basically said, a lot of those flavors are chemicals. So
Yeah, yeah.
It wouldn't be good.
No, you just want to get unflavored. You want to get organic coffee grounds, unflavored, right? And use that. And that's perfect. You can even, you can, if I have my worm farm, I buy 2 bags of coffee. And you want to get light brewed, not dark brewed. Dark brewed has to kill the good biological biology in. You want light brewed, especially for your body. It's also for the worms. So I take the worms love. So when I do coffee, I found out that I make coffee, then I give it to the worms. Are going, there's hardly any good stuff in it. You took it all. Oh, sorry. So I buy one for me, one for them, and I sprinkle the coffee without brewing or anything right into the worm farm. They go nuts. You see them eating it. I did a sample. I put a little hole and put coffee, and they just went in there because you think about it, the caffeine, they just dig their way through there. Oh yeah, coffee. As long as it's organic, because the chemicals in coffee will kill them.
Yeah. So for the ground squirrels, we're going back. Can I use ferrets? Well, like you can do whatever you want, but
if you have a good relationship with a ferret, unfortunately, I don't think I've ever seen a ferret attack a squirrel. It would destroy the poor squirrel, and I wouldn't like that.
Yeah,
so I
know
think
that you can use them for rats anyway.
I think you should just have a communication with your squirrel. Listen, I would happy feed you some peanuts, happy feed you some things. And then the way you tell them about this stuff is, I'm going to spray this area with peppermint, with spearmint, whatever it is that you want to spray. Like I said, grow the herb around, plant in there. So they have to work their way to get to your food, right? And they don't like that. And that's a much better approach than to try to do any harm to any of them.
Yeah, we want to keep the life going. We don't want to be killing anything, because as Andy said, you breathe, you're breathing in biology that exists in our air, and you're killing it in your lungs, etc. But the predator prey model, guys, just think everything is eating the layer of biology, the layer of life above them and below them. And as you get up higher in the levels of biology into the plants, our animals, us, we're consumers. Everything is consuming something, and you're being consumed at the same time. Inside of your own body is being consumed. The cells that are dying in your heart, say, are being reconsumed in your own bodies. So predator prey is a thing that's happening in everything we do, in everything that we eat, in everything that the animals eat, the plants, the biology in our soil. Those single-celled organisms are there. They're not just mining rocks, they're eating each other as food sources. It's that cycle of life that you have to remember exists and runs full time, 24/7. It's always there. So don't get caught up in that, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, because this is what's happening every second of every day. It's just, that's the way Mother Nature works.
What they have now is they compost you when you die. Certain cities are allowing to be compost. You get wrapped up, you put down, so you know that the plants are growing on you, eating you, and converting you. That's a really cool way to go. And by natural flavors, of course, there are lots of different things you can use that are natural rather than the chemical flavors. So I was talking about the herbs. That's one of the best ways to get garlic as a natural flavor. So if you want to discuss it, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for a wonderful discussion. I enjoy doing this. I feel it's an honor to come here before you and to expand my extreme knowledge. It's easy stuff for me. And as I get older, I'm still learning. I'm still understanding all these different things that are going on here. And
Yeah.
I don't hate human beings, but boy, we are so bad. We're getting really good at just.
Okay, did I freeze up or did you freeze up?
I didn't touch it. Did you
Okay.
freeze up?
Well, you were
What happened?
talking and all of a sudden it stopped. So
Yeah, you froze up. I was okay.
oh, okay. Anyway, guys, like it says, thank you for coming. Like, subscribe, share. Go to Andy's YouTube channel and subscribe to Andy's
Send
channel.
us money. We want lots of money.
If you're coming from Andy's channel, come to my channel. It's all about the biology. Subscribe over here. We have Chiropractic is Sexy tomorrow. So you're going to want to check that out with the ladies. Monday, we've got Bob Buckley, I think it is. I don't want to loss up his name, but he is a creator of a newer product. He's a science out of Cornell scientist, and he's put together in powdered form biology and mycorrhizae, etc. And he's going to be on with Leighton the next 2 weeks because we knew that one show wasn't going to be enough. So you're going to want to check that out with Leighton Morrison on the Soil Matters on Monday. Guys, if you want to help support the channel, hit the join button on YouTube. Make a little monthly donation to help us keep bringing you this information. We've been doing this for 4 years, guys. And they're Super Tinker. Thank you very much for the $20. Much appreciated, my friend. Anyway, Andy, I'll let you say the last word before I end the stream.
Word.